Hey everyone, my name is Gavin Vengeance. Welcome back to MyXP. Today I want to talk to you guys about my experiences with Breath of Fire 3 for the PlayStation, which I just recently completed over on my Twitch channel, and you can find that over at twitch.tv/Gavin_Vengeance. And I'm currently playing through Breath of Fire 4 right now, so you can also join me for that one, and if not, you can stay tuned for that video, hopefully going to be releasing sometime this month. So yeah, getting on to Breath of Fire 3. I didn't really get to play the game initially when it first came out, and that's because I didn't adopt the PlayStation right away. So it was a couple of years after its release that I actually found out about the game. I actually found out about it through a friend, and yeah, like I was playing Breath of Fire 2, Breath of Fire 1, and all the other Final Fantasy games and everything else that was released by Square Enix at the time, which was formerly known as Squaresoft. So I ended up finally discovering Breath of Fire 3. My friend Adam at the time, he was like, hey, have you ever checked out this game? Have you heard of the series? I'm like, yeah, of course, I love Breath of Fire. So I remember seeing the original PlayStation 1 copy of the game that he had, and it was just that sword with the fire in the background, and it was really cool. So I was like, okay, let's try it out. So I went over to his house, popped it in the PlayStation. I remember seeing the opening and actually getting to meet characters like Bry and Tipo, and just being like, wow, this looks really great. I love the battle system. I love how all the battles took place right wherever you were. Random encounter rate was a little high in some areas and everything as well, but that was something that was kind of known with the Breath of Fire series, so I didn't mind it. But yeah, it was really cool to actually first get to play that game, and I didn't really get to own my own copy of the game until much later on. And then I ended up repurchasing the game on PSP when that got released in Europe. So I had to import a copy, and then I was able to play it on my PlayStation Portable. So with Breath of Fire 3, I just remember, playing through the game and getting very far, having the best time with the game and just realizing how vast this world was. Being able to discover all kinds of different secrets or hidden masters, just learning their abilities, doing a lot of leveling and grinding, and just discovering treasures in every certain or every different map. It was just crazy the amount of content that was packed into this one disc. And it was really cool that you actually got to see Ryu as a kid again in the beginning of the game, and then later on you ended up becoming a full adult. So it was really nice to see that passage of time and getting to play the game almost in it almost felt like two games in one, because you got the story with Ryu growing up, and then you also had the story with Ryu being fully fledged member of the Brood pretty much, and being able to really have those dragon powers and just go take down without spoilers, the end boss. But it was really awesome to actually see how the characters developed in this game, and there was one thing that was really cool about that was you got to see a lot of growth with the characters. Nina in particular, for me, it was really cool to actually see how much she grew as a character from being a afraid little girl and just being very naive in a lot of situations, but then she really grew into her own later on in the game when you were adults. So it was really awesome, like I said, to see that character development and everything. And then also how each and every character was so diverse. Only character for me that didn't really add a whole lot was probably Pico. I know I'm probably gonna get some flack for that, but I don't know, there's just something about Pico that was so weird to me. A mutant onion. It was really cool, like I said, to actually go and experience the battle system and everything, which they definitely improved upon versus, the original Breath of Fire 2 and Breath of Fire 1 battle, with the addition of things Ryu's accession, where he could actually transform into a dragon based upon different combinations of these dragon genes that you found throughout the world. And that was another really cool thing as well, is that there were hidden crystals that you could interact with, and they would give you different options to change into a different dragon form in battle, which is something that the series didn't really play around with until this point. And it was the only time that it actually happens in the series, which kind of sucks because I really love that dragon gene system. And yeah, it was just awesome to see what different forms you could turn Ryu into, and see what the different sprites looked like, and being able to have access to certain elemental abilities based upon which genes you use. So I found that really diversified the battle system and made it really cool. So Moving on, my big favorite thing with this game is the music, and I know a lot of people are really partial to it, but the soundtrack for me is just so nostalgic. As soon as I hear any track from it, I'm just immediately transported back to when I was a teenager first playing this game and just being like, wow, like this is amazing, I love this game, and it just hits me in the heart like every single time I hear it. There's just so many themes. I even have like, you know, Breath of Fire 3 themes set up as my ringtones on my phone and everything. My alarms in the morning. It's crazy. I absolutely love the music in this game. And I believe that like it's some of the best composition in any Capcom game ever. And that's just my opinion, I guess, but I really love Breath of Fire 3. It's definitely my favorite Breath of Fire game in the series, and I know that might seem like it's a little bit biased or whatever, but for me it was just the game that I relate to the most out of the entire series, and it's the game that I really played a lot out of everything in the Breath of Fire series. So, like I said, with the game, it was really cool. The characters were awesome, the music was awesome, there was so much more for you to do as well with the addition of like the fairy villages and being able to like build like your own settlement for the fairies and send them out on different tasks, whether it be like gathering food or, you know, clearing out the land in the village and, you know, constructing houses and then setting up shops or different like resources that you could have access to. So it was really cool that this was taking place like at the same time that you were, you know, going through your adventures or leveling up or whatever else you were doing in the game. You were also able to have this little like side mini game that you could tend to, which overall just like benefit you in this game. And that fairy village, I guess, is like a little iteration of, you know, the village back in Breath of Fire 2 that you got to pretty much go and recruit people to help you build up. But this here game was a little bit different because it required a little more organizational skills, I guess, because each fairy had like different stats and you could allot them to which best suited their stats, I guess. But outside of that, the game is very big. It takes a long time to complete if you're actually going through looking for everything and doing a kind of playthrough where, you know, you want to like max your stats or get abilities or certain abilities for each and every character. They also had like speaking of abilities, this awesome command called Examine, where you could just wait out a turn and hopefully, if an enemy uses a special attack, you have a chance of learning that attack, and then you can actually use it yourself. So immediately, every single time I play this game, the very first thing I do was learn the influence ability from like the boss goblin at the very beginning, just because it comes in handy very much so later on in the game. So yeah, that was really cool. My biggest complaint with that system is just like having to use this consumable like skill ink in order to copy your abilities down and then transfer them over to another character to use. But I understand the system, I understand why they do it that way. It's just, it was really like a real big pain, I guess, when you get later on in the game and you're just like, I just want to move this one skill over to another character, but it's like, nope, you don't have the resource to go out and find another skill ink or go buy another skill ink, and that's where your fairy village and everything comes in handy. So it was really cool, like I said, to actually like get to go back, play through the game after like 10 plus years, and just like I said, relive the memories from that game for me personally, and just rediscover the game itself, because the main reason I haven't really played through it a whole lot recently is because I had the game, like I said, on PSP. I was working a job probably like 8 or 9 years ago, and as I was playing the game on my PSP, I ended up leaving it at my desk. I went out on my lunch break, not thinking, came back, PSP was gone, game was gone, and honestly, now all I have left is just the empty case with the booklet into it, and I'm just like, okay, well now I just have this horrible memory of losing my PSP and my copy of this game. But what do you do? Stuff happens, so that kind of sucked. But yeah, like I said, at the same time, that's why I haven't played through it recently. But if you do want to watch my awesome playthrough of Breath of Fire 4, like I said, over on Twitch TV, find me there, twitch.tv/Gavin_vengeance, and we'll get through that one next. Another thing as well that I completely almost forgot about was the fishing minigame. So they actually took the very basic minimalistic fishing mini game from, you know, Breath of Fire 1, Breath of Fire 2, and they completely expanded upon that with Breath of Fire 3, giving you all kinds of different, like, rods and lures and a ton of different fish for you to catch. You even had, like, a record of, like, you know, the different sizes of fish that you caught, and it was a really great source of, like, building up Zenny very quickly in the beginning of the game and throughout the game at that. But that was, like, super cool how much they expanded upon that, and then they added in, like, different, like, reeling techniques and stuff. It was just, like, so, like, in-depth, and it's probably one of my favorite fishing minigames in any RPG ever. And that's pretty much going to be it from my Breath of Fire 3 experiences. And yeah, if you guys related with any of this stuff or think that there was something that I missed or whatever, be sure to leave a comment down in the comments below. Let me know about your own experiences as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys viewing very much, and I will see you guys next time for Breath of Fire 4. Take care.